I mean, Starnan is most comfortable in the late game. I say that because every Protoss is comfortable with the late game. Starnan's different. This map is extra good for him because it has the ability for him to utilize that multitasking heavy warp prism play that he likes to do. And so I think McLeod's going to know that. He's going to try and end this game earlier rather than later. He doesn't want to get stuck in a long game with the blue Protoss player who is spawning down in the bottom right position of the map GSL Whirlwind. My favorite player currently playing for Team Western Wolves. This guy's got the craziest late game you've ever seen. He's Western Wolves Starnan.
And at the bottom left, winner of the last game, breaking the cursed streak of each player taking a game, or each team taking a game off each other. He is going to be the red Terran player for my intent, McLeod. And remember, guys, the series is currently at 3-2 in MYi's favor. So if they win one more game here, the series is over, and MYi does get to go to the finals, which would be an upset from last season's Western Wolves actually taking the entire thing. So this is a rematch of the finals from last year, like we were talking about earlier, Vindy. A lot of history here, and I cannot wait to see this game.
You know what, though? I don't want to call MYi defeating Western Wolves an upset. I don't want to do that because an upset implies that that Western Wolves is favored. I don't think so. I never thought so. I said maybe if I had to put money on it, I might put it on Western Wolves, but I think I thought the teams from the very get-go were very, very evenly matched, especially with the way that Shinya has been playing in this season. But here's the thing: if I was to put money on Western Wolves winning, Starnan would be why. Not sort of. Starnan. This guy is just so good in the ISTL. I don't know what kind of results he puts up in other tournaments aside from the DreamHack that he just recently played, but he has been stellar in ISTL. He's just knocked out so many top-level players. But McLeod's got a very, very good Terran versus Protoss too. I don't want to say that Starnan's completely favored to take this game. I just think that on this map, if it goes to late game, I think Starnan can take it. Starnan can take it convincingly.
We do have some odd positions here not being crossed. They are horizontally placed, with McLeod opening command center first in his main with one barracks and a second barracks to follow it up right now. And he is going to trap that probe inside of his main and not let it go back to mining outside. We're going to have to see what his follow-up to this is exactly. We could see a third command center, though in these positions that would be a little bit risky, especially against any kind of early pressure from Starnan, like we were talking about before. And Starnan actually only mining 2 guys off of his gas geyser here, is going to try to 1-gate expand, but McLeod very smartly recognizing that, putting down an engineering bay to really hamper this and slow it down.
Yeah, nice move by McLeod. He realized what his opponent's doing, so he's just going to try and milk this economic advantage that he's building for himself, because his command center is already finishing, so he'll be able to land it on the low ground before that Nexus is even halfway done. But you know what? This might prompt Starnan into doing something a little aggressive. He knows that his opponent's going to play greedy like this. He knows that he doesn't want to do anything super early and aggressive, so he might just opt. I think I'm lagging a little bit. He might just opt to go for a big timing attack.
He definitely could, and, you know, we're going to have to see what his follow-up to this is. Does he take a second gas and add a robo? Does he stay on 1 gas for a little bit, add those 2 additional gates? He does add a second gas very quickly, so this does generally mean we're going to see a robotics into 2 additional gates, but a second gate comes down very quickly here, and we may actually see something like a Twilight Council. No, it's going to be a robo off of 2. Wow, interesting.
Robo off of 2 gas. Yeah, it's probably just going to be... You know what this might actually be?
Okay, sorry.
No. No, this is actually just the 3rd gateway, Buddha.
Yeah, but he was, like, waiting on minerals for... He had minerals for... Never mind. It just confused me.
Well, he is banking up gas now. Now the mine starts to wander a little bit. Where? Oh, there it goes. Okay, so it is going to be a little bit of a later robotics facility. No, the thing is, Starnan in these positions could actually go for an earlier Warp Prism play. He could actually go for something like a Dark Templar drop as well, but it doesn't look like he's going to be doing that. He is going to be going for the late game. He is getting down that single 4. It's not a double 4, it's just a single one. He is kind of playing not greedy, not too safe, kind of a mediocre build in every sense of the word. Not mediocre as a mediocre quality, just kind of middle of the road, some economy, some base defense, leaving himself open for options.
Well, on the other hand, we do have McLeod going up to 5 barracks here, and this signifies one of two things, but I think mostly it signifies that he thinks that Starnan is going to go for aggression, and he wants to play very safe. He doesn't feel like he needs, or he can risk going for medevacs possibly. It's also possible that he wants to hit a timing or something, especially going for these 2 tech labs here. He might want to be aggressive off of 5 barracks here. I'm not sure when the observer is going to get to his base. Looks like it's just now moving across the map.
Yeah, this is the one thing that Protoss doesn't like about this map is how long it takes for them to get the information about their opponent, because your information is limited by what your observers see. Terran, they don't have that disadvantage. They can scan. A scan is the same across a huge map or across a small map. They get their information at the same time. But actually, Starnan's doing exactly blindly what he needs to be doing to counter, or I guess not blindly, because he does see that his opponent has a very high Marine count. He's actually going for a 2-base Colossus build, and against this very heavy Marine style that McLeod's currently going for, that's going to be very, very hard for McLeod to deal with.
Yeah, definitely. So in the meantime, we do have Colossus Den, I love to call it that, on accident. Robotics Bay coming out for Starnan, and he does have that one single forge actually going for armor here. Interesting. Normally we see weapons with Colossus. Marines poking out against the Stalkers in the very front here. Marines look like they want to push across the map possibly, but without a Marauder and without Slow, it's going to be very difficult for this long distance against pure Stalker.
These 2 Stalkers have 6 kills between the 2 of them, and now there's 4 of them out in the field. These Stalkers, with Starnan's control, can actually just kill every single one of these Marines. McLeod really needs Stim if he wants to catch these Stalkers. Is Starnan actually going to lose any of those Stalkers? No, it doesn't even look like it. He's going to keep every single one of those Stalkers alive, and a lot of Marines went down and all of that.
Yeah, no, they continue to go down too. Stim's still not done. No Marauder out in front here, and again, no concussive shell means these Stalkers going to be incredibly efficient. McLeod taking a lot of health damage on a lot of these Marines, losing a lot of them for free. Well, you know, free, quote-unquote. But the starport is now coming up with the reactor, a 3rd command center on the way. McLeod realizing he's safe, has pushed out on the map, of course, and he has 3 tech labs, actually, so he wants to go relatively Marauder heavy here, or maybe just prepping for Ghost later. He's making 3 at a time, though.
You know what? This attack from Starnan is going to be really, really... Well, I guess if he was going to attack. I thought that Starnan was actually going to go for a big attack, and the thing is, look at this natural expansion. There's no bunkers. It's a very wide open expansion that you can use a lot of different ways with Colossus, and with only a single starport down, McLeod has to make that decision of what's he going to build, Medevacs or Viking. But it doesn't look like that Starnan's actually going to move out with this Colossus. He's just sitting on it. Instead, he's using it for defensive purposes, and this is something that Starnan likes to do a lot. He makes a single Colossus, and then from there, goes straight into Charge Lot Archon. It's kind of a weird dynamic that he plays out with, but this single Colossus kind of forces a response from his opponent. If he overcompensates, he can just completely switch techs and take advantage of all that very high Viking count. And if he doesn't compensate for it, well, then the Colossus is still a very strong damage dealer, even just by itself.
Definitely is, and looks like he actually made one, and he's not going for Thermal Lane, so he's actually going to go straight into Templar tech. And I don't know if McLeod scanned this. It looks like he hasn't. He's still just making medevacs at this point. He does have 2 out on his army already, so he's not going to overcommit to it. And that's kind of what Starnan was a little bit counting on. It's, of course, going to help him hold off any of this early aggression, but really this is going to be a little bit of a scary attack if McLeod decides to push on the 3rd. If he goes up to the natural, then he's just going to die.
If Starnan hits a feedback on those medevacs, then this attack, I think he can stop it. But if McLeod controls very well and doesn't lose any of those medevacs, then Starnan doesn't have a lot of splash. He's just now finishing Storm. He's already gathering up energy on those High Templars preemptively. So once those High Templars have energy, this attack becomes so much more manageable. But instead, McLeod's being very, very smart about this. He's actually picking up 3 of those medevacs, loading them full of units, and looks like he wants to go for a big drop in the main base that's relatively exposed for Starnan.
Yeah, it could be. Like you said, these medevacs going up to the top are going to be a little bit scary, and now there is a Viking on the field. Vikings being produced by McLeod, and I'm not sure, well, Storm coming out. What are the upgrades for our Terran player right now? Is he at 1-1? You know?
He is at 1-1. He just finished 1-1 upgrades. He has not started 2-2 because he doesn't have an armory just yet. The upgrades for our Protoss player are at 1-1 as well, but he's getting +2 armor. And these medevacs are actually going to make their way into the main base.
All the
there are no units over there, and all the tech is exposed. The probes are exposed. It's going to be a big problem for StarNan. And now that he's being pressed on 2 sides, as his army from MYiMcleod is actually going to keep the bulk of StarNan's forces at his 3rd base. He doesn't have any units to actually combat this triple medevac drop in his main. He needs to land a storm on that, but if MYiMcleod can control and manages to dodge the storm, he's still going to take a lot of damage, and there the storm is not very effective. He manages to dodge a majority of it, and that second storm doesn't kill all that much, so this drop from MYiMcleod is just doing so much damage to StarNan.
Oh my god, the damage is so high, and MYiMcleod taking a huge supply lead by 30 right now. StarNan just sitting on his 3rd base, trying to make sure it doesn't dive. Now pushing out. Oh, huge storms going down on the army out front. Going to even the supply out a little bit, but all the tech in his main base is going down. His Templar Archive just now coming up again, right next to the Bioforces in the main, and I don't know if he's going to
He's going to go for a base race.
Oh my god.
He's going to go for a base race. He's going to try and rely on Warp Gate to warp in eventually enough units to deal with this triple medevac drop from MYiMcleod, and meanwhile he's going to try and push against his Terran opponent. His Terran opponent doesn't have any medevacs left. Every single medevac is with the drop army. There is no energy to actually heal this unit, and there is a good amount of splash damage in this army, but there is a ghost on the field as well. I don't really know who's going to take this one, Buddha. This is so close.
It really is close, but StarNan having lost his main. At the same time, MYiMcleod lost all of his SCVs at his 3rd and had to pull the ones from his natural. This game again, game number 16 is 4 and 5 and sure. Wow.
Buddha, the High Templar, were able to gather enough energy again for a second set of storms, and those storms were actually effective. He was able to clear out that drop out of his main base. A lot of damage, and when I say a lot, it's a little bit of an understatement. A ton of damage has been done to StarNan, set his tech back to the Stone Age, if Protoss could be a Stone Age race. His Cybernetics core is gone. His Templar Archives is gone. All he can make is Zealots at this point.
All right, well, this is getting a little bit out of control. It looks like StarNan's going to have to, like you said, remake that core, remake that Templar Archives, then remake the Twilight Council, then the Templar Archives. In the meantime, MYiMcleod has re-landed his 3rd, is re-mining from his natural, and looks to be in a better spot at this point. The upgrades are currently 1-1 to 1-2. Yes, 1-2, and the splash damage for StarNan is almost non-existent. He has 2 Archons and 1 Colossus, no Templar to be seen, and none to be seen for quite a while here. His 3rd base is still mining. His main is about halfway recompleted. MYiMcleod pushing across the map with a 25 supply lead is going to have a great chance at ending this game right now.
He's forcing StarNan into a last stand. This isn't just StarNan's last stand. This is Western Wolves' last stand. Can he hold this 3rd base? He's funneled all of his Terran opponent's army into a choke, but if he does land on a good number of the Zealots, that single Colossus is still alive. It's only got 2 kills, though. He needs additional splash damage, but I don't think he doesn't have the time. He's got the resources. He doesn't have the time to actually produce the Templar just yet. That Templar Archives is not complete just yet, and now the army from MYiMcleod is boxed in the army of StarNan. StarNan has to advance down that ramp if he wants to save his base, where that army has a concave. So this is going to be such a tricky spot for StarNan to actually attack into.
It is. MYiMcleod keeps skimming, though, and take a look at his units. So low, yeah. Templar Archive is about to finish, but remember, he needs to build energy on those Templar. And oh my god, charging the wrong direction, some of them. Oh, and the units at the top of the ramp have the perfect concave on this Protoss army. 150 to 100 supply. MYiMcleod is posed to take this game right now and the series to move MYI into the finals. Vindy, can he do it?
I don't know, Buddha. Those units are so badly damaged. A single storm would kill every single one of them. But StarNan doesn't have any storms. He doesn't have any units. He doesn't have any bases. StarNan is basically dead. He has some stalkers out on the field, but there's just nothing to actually kill this army with. And I don't know, Buddha. I think if MYiMcleod backs up right now, he will guarantee himself a win because his opponent doesn't have any economy. He doesn't really have. Or, you know what? I guess he does have an economy, doesn't he? He does have 2 bases mining that are almost mined out, and basically MYiMcleod's in the same exact position because those Starnet's been so good about... Dude, this is scrappy. This is so scrappy. What is it with McCloud and scrappy games today? All right, now I'm starting to recount, to take back a little bit of what I just said. If McCloud advances with his army, he's going to lose it. He's going to lose it to storms. He's going to lose his whole army to a couple storms because it's so badly damaged.
There are 6 storms sitting at the top of this main ramp. These units are so badly damaged. These medevacs have been averaging a half a point of mana during this entire game. This has been out of control. So much stimming, so much attacking, so much running away on both sides. And it looks like, well, McCloud's throwing units away, kind of.
He's trying to snipe Templar. It just isn't working very well for him. The units are so badly damaged that the Zealots are just able to pick them apart very, very easily. And I don't know. I think at this point, McCloud should back up and try to expand again. He's trying to make this work, and now he's going to be funneling himself into a choke where there's storms waiting for him, and he has no medevac energy.
Yeah, no. Well, we'll see how this engagement goes. Oh, I thought we were going to have it there for a second.
Now, the thing is, McCloud does have a couple of ghosts available. He can get an EMP if Starnan bunches up those Templar, but Starnan's not going to do that. Look how spread out those Templar already are.
Man, there are 8 Templar up at the top of the ramp, warping more in now. He's just trying to hold on, and look at the supplies! It's 115 to 128. Starnan has managed to pull this back. It's 34 to 37 harvesters on both sides. This is out of control right now, Vindicare. I think Starnan has brought this back from death to maybe I can win this game.
Oh man, I have the perfect nickname for Starnan if he actually comes up with this win, but he has to earn it first. Starnan, can you actually break? Oh no, Buddha! Look what Starnan's building! Look what he's building! I know! There's a Dark Shine in production! That is something McCloud can't deal with. He needs every single one of the energies on those orbitals for mules because he doesn't have any actual economy right now. Dark Templar would be absolutely devastating if he can get them out on the field, but that Dark Shine still has to complete. It's only halfway done.
Did he? I think Starnan did it, man. McCloud has had to lift his base off to his 3rd. His main base to his 3rd. His natural has only 2 mineral patches left with almost nothing there.
Oh, we're going to have an engagement soon. Oh, nice EMP from McCloud. Denies those High Templar from being able to actually get feedbacks up on the Ghost. And a nice EMP again deprives almost all of the Zealots of shielding. These guys are so good with their caster control. They are just so back and forth. Neither one can really get a good position with those spells.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Huge EMP goes off, but only on the Zealots. Not going to be quite enough there. There are a ton of Ghosts and High Templars. It's all going to come down to the micro at the last battle, but a DT's being warped in on the left side of the map. Care. Oh,
These DTs are going to deprive McCloud of his lifeline. The little bit of mining that he's going to have, these DTs are going to clean it all up. Oh, man. Now this is Starnan when he's at his best. When DTs are on the field, there's proxy pions out on the field. Starnan, like, literally just gets inside your head and melts it from the inside. And that's what he's going to start to do to McCloud. He's trying to force McCloud into making a mistake. And if McCloud charges up that ramp, it's going to be a mistake. Oh, and now these DTs, brilliant by McCloud. Oh, man, this is so intense, Buddha.
What is he, what can he do? He can't back off of the front and allow his opponent to expand here. But he doesn't have units at home. He has no money. He has no mining. His 3rd base or main base or whatever you want to call it is about to go down. It's almost on fire.
Oh, he baits out a single High Templar and manages to get an EMP on it. And now he's trying to get EMPs on the army, but there's still storms available. There's still storms, and there they go. There's storms now on the entirety of McCloud's army. Where are the rest of them? The storms land on the Ghost. Storms land on the Fire Forces.
This is so close!
Oh, I don't know. I think McCloud's got a little bit of advantage, but there's still another High Templar left. There's another storm all over the army, but I think at this... No, there's still 4 High Templars in the back. There are 4 High Templars still remaining. There are DTs now being warped in. The DTs are going to be on that Bi army. Now the storms are landing on the Bi army, and I think Starnan may have actually pushed this army back. Can he actually steal the deal? The DTs, man! The DTs are killing everything off. There are no more scans available because that orbital command had to get lifted. Starnan's done it. Starnan's done it.
What the fuck did we just see?
Oh my God, Buddha.
I thought it was gonna end in Game 6, and it's gonna go to Game 7 in one of the greatest comebacks I have ever seen in my entire life.
Starnan, how did you do that? How did you do that? Teach me, Starnan. How did you survive for that long?
60
with nothing. With nothing.
With no tech. Well, I mean, he didn't have a cybernetics core. He didn't have a Twilight Council. He didn't have a Templar Archives. He didn't have a Robo. He didn't have a robotics base. He had gateways. And he was down 80 supply on less bases, and he came back.
Starnan, you are officially the Jesus Protoss. You died, got resurrected, and redeemed your entire team all at once in the same game. You are now officially the Jesus Protoss. The Messiah Protoss, I think, actually sounds even better.